first to sleep at Fajr time should bear this punishment in mind. The two punishments mentioned here, first one, fire burning inside the grave. Number two, the head being crushed, are the punishment for those who say the salah but are lazy, that they do not offer them on time. How about those people who completely miss their prayers, let alone knowing the time of Jamaat for each prayer? Listen to the punishment of a person who doesn't offer his salah at all. Whoever intentionally misses their prayer, he will go to wail. This is such a terrifying valley in hell that even hell itself seeks refuge from it. There is also a valley in the name of Ghaib. The depth and heat of this part of hell is greatest of all. Inside it is a well called Hubhub, which keeps this valley of the hell burning furiously hot. This well is reserved for people who don't offer their prayers, those who commit adultery, those who drink alcohol, and those who take interest, and those who disobey their parents. And this is not all. It is stated in another hadith that there is another valley in hell called Jabal Huzn. There are scorpions resembling black mules. Scorpions, we see a little worm outside. When a spider, we run out of the room out of fear. These scorpions resembling black mules, each scorpion on its body, it has 70 stings. And each sting contains a pocket of poison. When this scorpion stings the person who does not read the salah, the poison reaches every part of his body. And the excruciating pain of the sting remains fresh for 1,000 years. After that, the flesh from his bones starts to peel off. Pus starts to flow from his private parts. And everyone else in Jahannam curses this person for missing his salah. My dear brothers, Muslims seem to have forgotten the purpose of our creation. If we read the Holy Quran, then the Quran is telling us what is the reason for our creation. It is not to earn abundance of wealth, have high worldly status, drive expensive cars, own loads of properties, etc. It is mentioned in part 27, Surah Az-Zariyah, Ayat 256, translation from the glorious Gamgol Shareef. And listen to this carefully, brothers. We all need to realize what is the reason for our creation. It is mentioned, and I have not created jinns and humans beings except to worship me. Except to worship me. You can take this example from this incident. How we are engrossed in the dunya. It's mentioned in an incident that a king, he wanted to build a great palace for which he spared no expense. And he made available all his treasures. Anything that did not suit his fancy, slightly he tore it down and built it again. Finally, he was convinced that the palace had no shortcoming and was the greatest palace ever built. Overflowing with pride at his beautiful palace, the king announced throughout his kingdom that he would reward anyone who could point at a flaw in his new abode. All who would visit could not see any shortcomings in the beautiful building. Not that anyone would even dare to point it out to the king. People kept coming and going for the next few days until a pious man happened to be passing by and stopped by when he heard the king's decree. After surveying the palace, he came before the king and said, "Your Majesty, I have found 2 flaws in your palace. 2 problems." The king, he was astonished that, nobody asked about this old man. He found this. He asked him, "What are they?" He goes, "Your Majesty, one is that this palace will not stand forever and will end like all things will end one day. The second is that you cannot live in this palace forever, for all must die one day. The world is a temporary home. No matter what high hopes a person has in this world, no matter how many beautiful houses and cars he has, he will have to leave everything behind." The Messenger of Allah Azza wa Jalla sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, "Be in this world as if you are a traveler." My dear brothers, this is the true reality. Whatever we have in this world, we will still have to die, and others will take possession of this. Whatever we have, whatever wealth we hoard, when we die, others will take possession of this. If we take an estimate, maybe it could be more. 95% of Muslims do not pray their salah. Maybe there's more. You can see this by visiting the masajids. How long are we going to stay like this? Death is always upon us. Let's all make intention that from today, no matter what happens, I will not miss any of my salah. Inshallah. And that I will do qaza for all the salah that have been missed and do sincere repentance in the court of Allah Azza wa Jal. Inshallah Azza wa Jal. No matter how occupied we are, we will not miss our salah. Listen carefully to the next narration and see how much love the Sahaba Ikram alayhi ridwan had for salah. It is mentioned in the book Laws of Salah that when Sayyidina Umar Farooq Azam radiyallahu anh was seriously wounded as a result of an attack, he was told, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen radiyallahu anh, it is time to offer salah. He radiyallahu anh said, yes, listen, the one who abandons salah has no share in Islam. He radiyallahu anh offered salah despite being severely wounded. My dear brothers, these intentions that we have just made, how do we remain steadfast on this? We know from our past experience that many times we made these intentions, but we failed to stick to it. Ramadan has just passed and alhamdulillah our masajid were full. Many of these brothers would have made good intentions of continuing with their daily prayers after Ramadan too. But what happened? The moment Shawwal moon was sighted, unfortunately our masjids became empty once more. And majority of us could not keep to our promises. So how can we achieve steadfastness on our promise of not missing our salah? There are many answers to this question. But one very important answer is keeping good company. Keeping good company. We always tend to follow actions of our friends, but how do we know who is a good friend? Is it the person who takes us to the cinema? Is it the person who we have a good gossip with? Is it a person who hangs out late till night smoking and looking at forbidden things? I'm sure you would all agree that no one will class this person as a good friend. A good friend, my dear Islam brothers, would stop us from doing bad actions and tell us to do good. A good friend would take us into masjids for namaz and not in the cinema. A good friend would stop us from listening to music which is haram and instead make us listen to the knock of the beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. A good friend would ask us to sit in a religious gathering rather than their place of worship and gossip. How many of us have friends who are worried about hereafter? And where do we find such friends? My dear Islam, alhamdulillah. In the Madri environment of Dawah Islam, you will find such friends. In the Madri environment of Dawah Islam, will become practical walking and talking Muslims. Practical, I mean, recently we have heard all this in what's happening about the people saying bad things about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But partially, if not mostly, it's us Muslims who are to blame for this. Because we are Muslims by name. We are not Muslims by character. A person looks at us, do we act like a Muslim? We need to think to ourselves, are we Muslims by action? Those were the Sahaba Ikram alayhim ridwan that the kuffar would tremble with fear as soon as they heard the name of the Sahaba Ikram alayhim ridwan. Those were the Sahaba Ikram that the shaitan would cross his path to avoid him. These are the highest criticisms, but it is unfortunate us as Muslims in this day and age, all this what's happening to us is the doing of our own hands. Like he has mentioned in the glorious Quran. My dear Islam brothers, we need to make a habit of coming to these gatherings like this of Dawat Islami. Like this, we will stay in company of good people. Inshallah, these brothers will remind us regarding our salah. These brothers will ring us in the morning to wake us for Fajr, which is called Sadai Medina. So inshallah, these brothers will wake us. These brothers will remind us to fit in the Madri Namaz. This Madri Namaz, that will remind us about our hereafter. It will remind us that what action we have done today. It will remind us in this Madri Namaz that did we read Salah today. It will remind us that not only did we read Salah, did we invite somebody else to offer Salah as well. This is the Madri Namaz that will save us from the punishment of the grave and the punishment of hereafter. My dear Islam brothers, it is the Madri request that we travel on this Madri Qafile. It's unfortunate that we come with 101 excuses. And look how much we travel for the dunya. Look, those of us that study in colleges, universities, they will leave the city they live in. Some of us will leave the country they live in just to go to a good university, a good college. But, my dear Islam brothers, how much do we travel to learn about our deen? How much time do we spend to learn about our deen? We will study big, huge books of law just to become solicitors or barristers or accountants, etc. But when it comes to salah, when it comes to namaz, how much do we know? Do we know the faraiz? Do we know the wajibahs? Do we know the condition of salah? know this. Even the salah we're reading, are we reading properly? Have we ever taken time out to read our salah to a person who knows his tajweed, to tell him to correct it, see if we are reading our salah properly, my dear Islam brothers. This is what we need to do as Muslims.